So I started teaching writing in grad school. I was in a program, an English PhD program, and immediately it was clear to me that the teaching was the thing. It was really like where I felt the most alive, the most sort of excited about learning and critical thinking, and I never looked back.
ChatGPT was my wake-up call. I wish I'd been more ahead of the curve, but for me, that was when I really had to start taking it seriously. We teach discipline-specific writing, so classes like writing in the medical sciences, writing in law, writing in interior design, and so we really had to immediately start with, well, to what extent is this being taken up in the profession that I'm training students to do, or in the discipline that I'm training students to communicate in, and then work backwards from there. So those were a lot of the early conversations we were having in our program.
Hello, I'm Eric Vallee, and I'm in my 5th year at the University Writing Program.
Hi, I'm Emily Bald, and I'm also a 5th year faculty member in the University Writing Program.
So Emily, how do you use AI in your classroom? I know you've got a lot of experiments going.
Yeah, well, in public health right now, students are working on a public health education campaign that requires them really to tailor their messaging to a really specific group of community actors that they're concerned about. And so we've been playing with AI as a way to help brainstorm some of the maybe sources of opposition or resistance they might get from that audience, aspects of maybe just the lived day-to-day experience of their intended audience and how that might help shape their messaging. And then in the coming weeks, they're actually going to use AI to kind of test the accessibility and cultural sensitivity and actionability of their messaging. So we're using it both, I guess, as kind of a simulator of their intended audience and as a coach to help them, revise and really tailor their messaging.
Yeah, that's excellent. I mean, I think that it has that advantage of being an immediate audience. So kind of the connection between producing the writing and getting that feedback, you're kind of shortening that gap, which I think is excellent.
Yeah.
This semester, I'm happy to once again teach a course on writing in the law. So what we try to do is when we construct an argument, we give it to ChatGPT or Microsoft Copilot, and we ask it if we say, we're the defense counsel, this is our argument, here are the 4 parts of the rule. What would you say against that? You are the prosecutor. How would you respond to this argument? How would you rebut it? What are the logical fallacies in the argument? And then they can take that feedback and help them prepare for the actual moot court debate, where they will have actual human beings who may very well bring up exactly those rebuttals. A lot of the conversation right now around generative AI is centered on this question of plagiarism, which is an important issue and does need to be worked out. But I would encourage faculty members to think of different models. So, for instance, rather than thinking about it as a tool for plagiarism, which inherently makes you in opposition to your students and suspicious of your students, thinking of it as a tool for self-reflection, for empowerment, that you can use in actual responsible ways.
I would tell other instructors not to be afraid, that you don't have to be a master of it before you start incorporating it into your class, and just be transparent with students about the fact that you're learning it with them, and don't be afraid to try things out in class for the first time, and then and just kind of evaluate what's happening in real time. I think that's often the best way to teach students and make them feel confident enough to try something themselves. So I'm focusing less on what AI is able to do better than I can or what a student can, and more on what AI and I can do. How much better that is, or what AI plus the student can do together. And that has been, I think, more productive and more empowering.